And I got to tell you guys, I was doing some searching, and it really is amazing to me. It is amazing how many lying liars there are on the internet who insist on telling people DEI is dead, DEI is dead, DEI is dead. Look, the Daily Show says DEI is dead. Do you guys want me to show you just a few of the trainings that I found today? Not trying very hard. Let me show you how dead DEI is, because guys, every single time I do searches to try to find trainings to watch on our streams, literally every single time I do it, I find more trainings than we can actually possibly watch. There is an abundance of stuff that we can watch. For example, Intuit. Intuit, does anyone recognize the name Intuit? That's a relatively big company. For those of you like me who's going to be doing your taxes in the next week, or maybe I'm going to file an extension on my taxes this year because I just don't really feel like it. But anyway, the taxes are going to work themselves out. They always do. Intuit is the company that owns TurboTax. They own Credit Karma. They own QuickBooks, and they own MailChimp. Guess what Intuit's been doing this week? They've been updating their YouTube page with sessions from their Trans Plus Summit to include Trans 101, trans hiring and recruiting for Gen Z and Alpha Gen, practical application, and general remarks from a trans influencer. But DEI is dead, huh? DEI is dead? Are you sure? Let me show you some of the other things I found. Oh God, the University of Denver. We all know that I love Colorado because Colorado is quickly turning into one of the most socialist states in the country. The University of Denver a couple months ago had a whole trans seminar where they're talking about trans and non-binary bodies, affirmative action, fighting back against the Supreme Court decision, all that good stuff. That's the University of Denver. How about the University of Minnesota? Check this shit out. I almost decided to watch this today. I was like this close because it's going to be so woke, but it's also going to be so wonky that it's ridiculous. This is out of the University of Minnesota, so taxpayer funded. Queering Consequence, a framework for liberatory logics. And I kid you not, guys, this is a combination of philosophy and math. There are in this presentation, I only scrubbed through it quickly, there are whole goddamn equations. Hopefully we can just get one pulled up here based on my internet actually working YouTube. But there are whole mathematical, logical equations in this presentation to explain the need to queer our society. I swear to God. And it's 2 hours long. I almost watched it. I was like, I don't know if I can survive that. I just don't know. But that's the University of Minnesota. AGU, this is a science university for geoscientists, uplifting transgender and gender nonconforming geoscientists through allyship and empowerment. What does that even mean? I don't know. Do you guys know that queer geoscientists need justice too? Because there's a presentation about that. But of course, DEI is totally dead. How about the University of Michigan? Another taxpayer-funded institution. And this is not even the University of Michigan proper. This is Michigan Engineering. The engineering college. Or department. I don't know if they're a department or a college, but this is definitely, oh, yep. The University of Michigan College of Engineering. Do you guys know what I want a taxpayer-funded engineering college teaching? Gender inclusive allyship. I just think that makes a ton of sense. If you when the bridges start falling and the buildings don't last as long as we want them to, and things just start dropping out of the sky, you guys can say that you knew that the University of Michigan in the College of Engineering is teaching gender inclusive allyship, and this was just uploaded less than a year ago. How about this one? UCLA staff. Lunch and Learn, creating a more inclusive campus for transgender and non-binary Bruins. UCLA, also taxpayer funded. But ultimately, I landed on this one. Ultimately, this is the presentation that I have decided that we will watch today. And it's not that we didn't have many other really great options, but this is just like, this is one of those moments where it feels like fate intervened and the universe guided me to exactly the right presentation to watch. First off, it's called Identity Affirmation and Its Impact, Non-Binary and Transgender Identities. And in looking at the very short description, all it says is, in this session, we will discuss the mental health impact that identity affirmation has on transgender and non-binary youth. You guys know that I love nothing more than when organizations talk about gender identity for children on the internet, particularly if they're maybe including those children in the presentations. And this isn't even, you'll notice this says day 2. Day 2 of what, you ask? Well, this seems to be part of a virtual summit 2023. So I went back on their YouTube page and sure enough, there are a whole metric ton of gender identity trainings all around this conference. Look at this one. Nothing about us without us. Youth-centered systems of care. All sorts of stuff around the psychological well-being of youth. Look at this. I really actually do want to watch this. It's called Your Story Matters, the Diary of a Schizophrenic. Does anyone want to learn about schizophrenia? It might not be the worst thing that we could do at some point. So you might be asking, what is this organization? The National Training and Technical Assistance Center for Child, Youth, and Family Mental Health, NTTAC. What is NTTAC? Well, let's keep going down the rabbit hole, because then we go to their website, which is ntaacmentalhealth.org. And it seems as though they have a lot of services for youth, doesn't it? The National Training and Technical Assistance Center for Child, Youth, and Family Mental Health works to ensure all young people and families get the support they need. NTTAC is a SAMHSA funded initiative. Well, that seems familiar, doesn't it? SAMHSA. That seemed familiar to me, but I kept looking around their website and I went to their events section. I wanted to know what else they're doing. NTTAC offers an array of learning events at no cost to participants. Well, someone is paying the costs of these events. I scrolled down a little bit, and then I found this. Pacific Southwest, MHTTC. Does anyone recognize that? Does anyone recognize that partnership logo for the Pacific Southwest? MHTTC. I want to bring you back to this. When was this published? February 1st. When we discovered a random YouTube channel with no views on it that had a teacher training from Orange County, California, that was federally funded, that literally said that if a kid goes into their classroom and writes, "There are only 2 genders" on the chalkboard, that's considered harassment. That was conducted, look at that, Pacific Southwest, MHTTC. Oh my word. And who's that funded by? That's funded by the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. And who is that funded by? The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And if we look on their website, there it is. This is all funded by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Again. Another rabbit hole of federally funded gender ideology training. So congratulations, guys. We're all paying for this one. Not just the people in the crazy blue states. We're all paying for what we're going to watch today. You're welcome. You're welcome.